The bell has rung. Classes session. Welcome everyone. We have learned the biological language of our body. We more or less have control over our hormones, so don't you think it's finally time to move on to nutrition science? If you are ready, we are starting. The part you are most curious about is, how am I going to lose weight and manage my nutrition without starving myself, and while still consuming the foods I love? Most of you think that losing weight and creating a calorie deficit simply means eating less. However, our body does not work like a robot in this way. Today, I will explain this to you with 3 important tips. You will be very surprised by what you learn. The first tip is the thermic effect of food, which means burning calories while eating. This is the body's biological working mechanism. So, how does this happen? Our body expends energy to digest, transport to cells, and store every food we consume. However, the digestion and naturally the calorie burning, meaning the thermic effect of each food group, is different. That is why what we always say is true. It's not about how many calories you take in throughout the day. Where you get those calories from is very important to us. The greater the thermic effect of food, the higher the amount of calories burned. This ranking goes quality protein, then carbohydrates, and then fats. The group with the highest thermic effect rate is proteins. If we look at the reason why, the amino acid bonds of proteins are very complex, and the body expends a lot of energy to break these bonds, process them in the liver, and bring them into the cycle. If you are wondering, now that we've learned this mechanism, how do we apply it? Let's look at it together. The first priority is to increase the ratio of quality protein in our daily diet. When you adjust this in a balanced way, you increase your basal metabolic rate during the day just by eating. Let's give examples of quality protein like eggs, red/white meat, and legumes. The second is to choose unprocessed foods, because the type of carbohydrate is also effective on the rate of the thermic effect. While the body digests a biscuit, which is a processed food, without expending energy, it expends more energy to digest a natural high-fiber carbohydrate. And because foods with a high thermic effect leave the stomach later, their digestion time will be extended, and they will send fullness signals to the brain for a long time. In short, our goal should not be counting calories but focusing on where that calorie comes from. Instead of shrinking your portions, make sure to add quality protein to every meal. Utilize unprocessed carbohydrates, and diversify your plate with healthy fats. We have come to the second tip, muscle shunting. Muscle shunt is a biological mechanism that allows glucose, which rises in the blood after meals, to be quickly absorbed and burned by the muscles before the body starts storing it as fat. If we look at the logic and science of the matter, normally when you eat, carbohydrates turn into glucose and mix into the blood. Blood sugar rises and is converted into glycogen, and the excess glucose is stored as fat. What happens when the muscle shunt comes into play then? It opens a shortcut without needing insulin. Muscle contraction brings special glucose transporter proteins called GLUT4 to the surface of the cells. In this way, glucose is expended directly in the muscles as energy without going to fat cells. What we actually mean by muscle contraction is mobilizing the muscles with light activities done within the first 10 to 30 minutes after a meal. So, this is what we call activating the muscle shunt. It doesn't mean doing very heavy workouts after a meal, which is not something we recommend anyway, but rather light, natural movements here. For example, loading the dishes into the dishwasher at home, walking at a light pace for 10 minutes at the end of the meal, or if you are at a desk and can't get up, keeping your toes on the floor and lifting your heels up and down right where you are sitting. Thanks to this method, fat storage in the body decreases. The post-meal sluggishness is prevented, and metabolic health is supported by increasing insulin sensitivity. Especially after heavy cheat meals, this method will be very, very useful for you. The third tip is tricking the brain with the plate. You know how we always want our eyes to be full as much as our stomachs when eating? That is exactly the topic here. Our brain sends us information about how full we will feel by looking at the fullness ratio of the plate. If you have a huge plate and there is one portion of food inside it, the brain starts sending you signals that you won't be full. But when you put the same portion onto a smaller plate, the brain might think that you will be full, and even that it might be too much. By using this method, we will actually be playing a little game of manipulation. And first, we will shrink the size of our plates. In addition to this, filling the plate with foods that are low in calorie density, but large in volume also works. How? Our brain can quickly get bored of a single taste or texture. But if we fill half of the plate with a colorful salad and vegetables, both the fullness ratio of the plate will increase and appeal to the eye, and the chewing time will be extended. The fullness signals going to the brain will arrive just in time, and of course along with this we will be consuming plenty of fiber. Today we have learned once again that eating healthy and losing weight is not about walking around hungry all the time. It comes from knowing the scientific facts on the plate as much as our own body. When nutrition is managed smartly and in a balanced way, no obstacle can stand in your face. The one who eats smartly wins, not the one who eats less. We are coming to this week's homework. I have shared 3 important pieces of information with you. I want you to choose and apply any one of these, and observe the changes in your body and in yourself. Don't forget to share the results with me in the comments.